I think it's not only like a macro level thing that I can work in game. It's also a micro level thing I think applies to how I handle interactions. And then I also thought it's like, wait, it's actually kind of is applicable to me in life as well, where I think I'm a lot more of a thinker than like a doer in a lot of spots. Like I'll pace around and think a lot about stuff, and it's just like, wait, I should do this right now. Like, why am I thinking about something that like I want to do, or like I want to like accomplish, or like I'm thinking of the results of? Yeah, it's still set in stone to even happen.
Hmm.
So, like, oh, does all that make kind of like sense? But it's like funny because it seems very simple, but it's just like I feel like I've been already able to apply it to a lot of things, and hopefully we can talk about it more like as the lesson goes on. Just
Sure.
what I'm exactly thinking.
Yeah, exactly. No, I mean, like, all of this sounds good. So let me ask you. Um, so it sounds like you've gotten a lot of value out of this in a bunch of areas. What are some ones that surprised you, I guess?
So I'd say probably the most directly applicable to in-game interactions is the one I kind of teased up a little bit. I've kind of had this before, but I think I'll go into a lot of interactions already kind of settled on like what move I want to hit, and that'll be the only move that I kind of go for. And I've kind of always thought this, like for example, like when you're zoning, the only move that you're thinking about is like back air, and it's just like whenever that zoning interaction changes to a type of interaction that Bair is no longer the best option, you kind of just can't get out of that mindset of Bair. And it's just like, oh, I should have like landed and grabbed, or I should have done maybe an upper. Maybe they wouldn't have they like jumped above me instead, but I was still locked into that Bair. But so I've known this for like some time. It's kind of been hard to give up that sort of habit. But I think something that's like really made me realize this is actually how my hand is even positioned on the controller. Like as
Mm.
I'm going for this backer, my thumb will be it's a C pad and not a C stick, by the way, but it will be on like the button that would be the backer button. And I think just by raising my thumb and kind of putting it more center of like A, B, the whole C stick and whatnot, it already like opens up my mind a lot more to just handle whatever kind of comes at me and just be ready for situations to change. So kind of like something again that I've kind of like known about and I've known to tackle, but I think your way of kind of teaching how to just like be open-minded has made me realize it's like, wait, I think even physically the way that I'm like kind of like sitting myself in and just kind of gripping my controller has set myself up to not really be as open-minded as I should be in the past. And so that's already like an easy thing to just like try out. And I think it's helped benefit my game plan, especially in like slower matchups, I'd say, but also faster matchups because he's, a bunch of things are flying at you and you can't react to everything. You have to change options on a whim.
Yeah, absolutely. So it sounds like you've already gotten a lot of value out of the stuff that we talked about. That's what we live to hear.
Yeah.
So I guess the question I'd have here is, you said you wanted to talk about it more. How do you foresee this time being productive?
So that's kind of the interesting thing because we did talk about how last lesson it would be good to like get a high stakes sort of set going online. And I will say I did boot up ranked and it was a really good time. It was a really good time to practice it. I did it both last night and this morning, but I don't think I ran into any top level players, unfortunately. But we can still this is like the first time I really tested it too, is I did fight Morse code last night and maybe we weren't like super serious. We were still trying things out, but I'd say we were still like pretty focused on trying to win. So if you think that's a good measure to like look at the lesson and just like see how I'm currently applying and maybe changes to yourself. Or I even brought up the idea last time that like I could play ranked in the middle of this, and I'd be down for that as well. Just whatever options you think are the best, but I know
Oh, that's very.
looking over a set was what you mentioned last time, and
I mean,
that's kind of the only backup I have.
No, it's all good. So let. Why don't you show me, like, screen share? You can show me the set with Morse code, and we'll take a look at it, and you can tell me what's different.
Yeah.
Like, you can tell me what you would have done before and point out where things are different. I think that would be the best place to start.
Right. And you think I should screen share instead of just sharing off my games?
Um, I
Or it
mean,
would be probably faster.
yeah, let's just do it that way. It's just easy.
Yeah, let me grab like just trying to see like because I think towards the end of the session was when a lot of my downsides towards edge guard. Morse code's really hard to edge guard, so that was like a problem, like some spots. But nah, we played like because we usually do this every week where we play on like Wednesday. We'll play on Thursday night, and that was something I totally forgot about when we talked about our thing. But no, I think it was a really good. I think it was a really good session for me to be like, whoa, this is like a lot stronger now that I'm just like letting myself be free and open to like what types of moves I want to do in interactions.
Yeah.
I think I'll just grab these two. I was like trying to grab like 3, and I'm just like,
oh, these are friendly. Oh, I got it. So this is like a practice session. These are like friendlies with Morse code. Got it. I thought this was I thought this was a rank set. Totally fine though. So yeah, just grab a couple of grab a couple.
That's what I'm saying. Not exactly high stakes, but we do. This is actually a nice thing I do with him that I think I should do with a lot more people. Is we do 10 games, so you already know like going into it how many games you're gonna even be playing. And I think that allows you to be a little more focused because you're not just playing until you feel tired or whatever. You're just kind of like, okay, this is exactly how much time I have, and then we're done. Like, that helps a lot. So, yeah, let me just go live here. Can you see?
Yep. So I'm just popping this out so it'll be on recording. And
I'm actually going to lower my audio down just a little bit.
No worries.
I'm used to doing it myself. I'll do it like 2.
All right, perfect. So I see you've got Nair going on.
Yeah, we got Nair. So I think probably if I have to critique something already, it's I tried probably fighting Samus a lot from the top diagonal. And as we talked about in our lesson, and this is me just having a ton on my plate to work on. But so the reactionary thing was good, but talking about the whole numpad thing, I really should just be fighting either horizontally or getting under him and then hitting him with directly vertical with up air. So that's kind of like been a habit with me, and I think a lot of other Puff players, to be honest, are like guilty as even like top level players. We just kind of like landing on you with the Nair, but that's not part of the numpad. The numpad, at best case scenario, is directly horizontal, and I do think short hop Nair, like when you're going complete to the sides, is good for that reason. But you know, right off the bat, you already saw I went for like 2 of them, and it's just like, that's not.
I think it's more forgivable on Samus because, like, again, it's not just like your number pad; it's also hers, and I think that she has trouble covering the diagonals.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I would agree we're not playing to our strengths as much as we could.
Yeah, that's fair. Like, just kind of why not? So I think like already like that grab was just kind of like I shielded, and I just noticed in the situation I was close enough to grab them. And a lot of these things might seem obvious, but they're just like. Stuff that would go on. See, there too, he rolled. This was a completely accidental roll. But a lot of spots, like, I would be looking for back here. Like, I would crouch here, but it's just like, oh, he rolled. I can just grab this. So it's like a good example. And I think, just like, maybe this is, I know what we went over last time, but I think this was just something that I was able to extract from our last lesson that was just like, you know, this is a really good measure to keep myself focused on just like what is happening in the moment. Because again, like even the way I grip my controller would just be like, okay, we're going to have a situation play out where my back air hits them. And it's just like a situation will play out where back air is not the best option. But then like my entire brain would freak out. It's like, I'm trying to like force this back air. Where does it go? And that just doesn't end up happening. Again, that's like in a kind of different way. It's a result oriented mindset of just like, I'm foreseeing a future interaction where I successfully hit Bair. And it's like, but what if Bair isn't the correct option? So I hope you kind of understanding like that type of takeaway I got from that. Where
no, this all makes perfect sense. So you're just let's keep going in the match, and I'm curious to see how this plays out.
Yeah. There's another time where again shield grab. Morse code has to bank on shield a lot, obviously. So that was kind of like one of the big things I learned was just like you just gotta tap them a lot with grabs. Be accepting of that damage. There's another thing too. I actually really like Fair for this reason too, because you can run up, and then during like a run up or just any flexible action, like I guess a jump in is another good example. You can decide what to do during it. Do you land? Do you do whatever? So I think in this spot I just saw that he missed up tilt, or that the up tilt was about to miss, and so I just pump out a Fair. So I think even I guess now that I'm explaining it to you and I get a better understanding of this, I think. Like, what I should be trying to do more isn't just looking to cover a lot of options at once, because here's the problem, too, is, like, this is better than what I've doing in the past, where I'm just focusing on one type of solution, but I don't want to go in the other direction and, like, try to cover everything, because obviously you can't react to everything, so I think I think a good thing I can do to perhaps make this more consistent is, again, that type of flexible run or like drifting in where I haven't done the aerial yet, but I'm doing movement into the next situation. That feels like it's pretty good to like cover multiple things. Like if I want to be defensive out of it, like, oh no, I don't think I can actually attack out of here, let me back up or whatever, I'm able to do that. But if I'm able to attack, then, you know, I can do that just as fine as well. So as I'm explaining this, like, I'll probably get like a better understanding of how this even works to begin with. And again, if you have any like things stat about it, then that's pretty cool too. But yeah, so I think as I'm going now, I'm just trying to understand it myself, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, for sure. So one thing I'd add is, do you know why Jigglypuff's back air is so good?
Well, I would say, because I'm trying not to think of the obvious thing, but I guess the obvious thing probably is what's most important. That's just the fact that it covers a ton of space at once. Like, you throw it out, and I'd say there's that, and then I'd say the second best thing is that it's very safe. So, like, you can throw out the back air, and then, like, even if it misses, you're still free to just, like, retreat. You know, if it hits, then you're good to, like, extend off of it, but those are the two things. It just has obviously really good range, and then there's next to no commitment after it's out.
So what makes it so safe? Like, let's say you hit somebody's shield. What makes it so safe?
The fact that you're basically already in the air, and because assuming you hit him from a far enough distance away, you're available to drift away. Although I guess that's less a back air and more of Puff's drift to begin with.
But what if you land from it? Like, what if you do like falling back air? Are you still safe?
I would say it depends on if you can auto cancel or not. But let's say you do a landing bear that's really close to the ground. I think that's mainly because you can crouch, or at the very least ASTI down, and Puff's crouch is pretty strong, but I'd say I'm probably not fully sure why. So if you have a better explanation.
I do. So I would say it's because let's talk about out of shield ranges for a second. So okay. If you're spacing back air and Samus just shielding, and let's say like you back air outside of her narrative shield and her up B, because those would be her two like big like out of shield moves, right?
Yeah.
Narrative shield and up B. Okay, cool. What does she have to do to hit you exactly?
I'm trying to think how she even would hit me, because her fastest movement out of shield, like in terms of distance wise, I feel like it's just a wave dash, correct? And then like
so that takes
maybe she could like F tilt out of that.
Yeah, I can see that.
Maybe.
So if you are falling with your back air, and then you land relatively close, like relatively soon after hitting the back air on her shield.
Yeah.
How many, like, she needs to spend probably 13 frames in order for her to be able to wave dash, plus the whatever the move startup is. So that's probably about, like, let's say she forward tilts. I think that's on 4 or 5. So let's say 4.
Oh yeah, I think it's like 5.
Okay. So
yeah, I thought this was more like a rising bear, but not like even landing bear is pretty safe, I guess you're saying.
Yeah, landing bear is definitely safe because you have, if you are -5 or better, if you dash jump away from her at like as soon as you can, you're in the air before her wave dash is completed.
Yeah.
Which means,
and at that point you can throw out like another backer, right? To at the very least pressure them.
Well, maybe not. Like again, she gets to you in 13. Your bear comes out on 10, so you'll be around +2. So I mean, you might not be able to hit her, but you're definitely actionable. And I think that's the thing is that applies to any character as well. Like this works on even against Fox himself. If you bear his shield and or like aerial his shield and you land outside of his immediate threat range, as long as you just get back in, as long as you like were -6 or -6, -5, something like that or better, yeah, he can't actually reach you with his wave dash out of shield into whatever, which means that you're actually rewarded for speed a lot of the time there because the jump is just safe. It's just something you can do. And I think that Hungrybox is the best. That's part of why his backers are so much better than everyone's, because he just keeps he does that every single time. In fact, if you
always do a landing at max range, you would say.
I mean, not max,
or not max range, but good range.
Yeah, just outside of their immediate hit range. If you want, I can even show you an example.
Ooh, I would love to see an example.
Okay, So,
Yeah, that's a good idea. And like even describing the Samus example, it's like you're starting a new interaction where you have frame advantage, and you get to start it rising too. Because I generally think Puff, I guess while she's landing, she has more of a threat range too. Because I know like there's like an old fiction idea where the cone represents like full drift back, full drift forward, and all the entire threat range that Puff falls on. But I also like to think rising Puff is like more flexible to like still be able to change her drifts because she's not going to land immediately after the back air. But no, on a shield, that totally makes sense why it'd be a heck of a lot safer.
so you can see this, right?
Prison, yeah. Yeah, I can. This is Smash Con Cody swap.
Yeah.
There's a set I've seen like twice already.
So let's see here. So I want us to count the number of times that Hungrybox lands on Cody's shield in like outside. So actually, that fair here, even on hit, you can see like if he was.
Yeah, this is another frame advantage. Or they're about equal, but still, that grab was insane.
Yeah. So then we have this, and then he dies, I think.
Yeah.
So then we have the next stock over here. So let's count the number of times that Hungrybox lands in shield, then lands near Cody's shield within like up smash out of shield range or something, or like something that he can reach without a wave dash. Because yeah, just for some fun and science.
Yeah. No, this will be a good. The fact that you already had this like, basically like on dial up, it's just like he knows this is a good example or whatever.
I mean, like we have some stuff like that happens on hit, and then like, okay, so this is actually just where he kills him. So it's earlier in the match where this has to happen. Then.
Yeah.
So let's see here. Let's go right to the beginning for funsies.
Yeah.
Okay. So that one was a fair grab. Like that hit Cody. So that one we don't have to count. But let's see here.
Noticing something as well. He committed to that fair on the tech chase because he did it even after they teched in. I'm just like noticing like some patterns too. It's like maybe some sparks you do want to read and not try to react. Everything. Yeah, like that bear, for example, if he shielded, would have been safe.
Yeah. And what happens here? I think he like gets killed by Shine. He got killed by Shine Spot.
Right.
But when he respawns, let's see here.
This is high percent Fox too. Boom, boom.
He's so good at those.
Yeah, it's really important that you like immediately throw out another bear, because if it misses, you're still available to do yet another back air to hit the minutes done. It's kind of messed up. Oh wow, that was really good. Just like the way he dash off.
Even that up air would have been like outside of Fox's immediate like.
Right. Up around shield is actually like deceptively really good. That's something Erica and I have gone over a lot, where it's like you're scared of it hitting shield, but it's like, why are you scared? Like you never really get punished when it's tapping shield, because you're still doing a full drift that makes Jigglypuff safe out of the effective out of shield range. Oop. Yeah, this is kind of like the general Fox game plan of like hovering in diagonals and then like finding a time to just poke. But it's still like even like thinking about your numpad, it definitely is like he's still attacking even though the movement is diagonal. It's still like the direct sides of Puff that are being timed. So even then, it's just like kind of a good idea to like have in my mind.
So like here,
rather than focusing.
Yeah, like he's just slightly outside of the range or able to move outside the range after.
Yeah.
Because as long as he can get out of the way of the immediate threat after, yeah, he's like he's safe basically.
Yeah. It's probably. Oh, I was gonna say there might be another situation. It's funny to talk about this though, because Balance and I have had like a big kind of discussion about how we think landing aerials with Puff are like kind of too risky. Like they're kind of almost Fox's win condition in a way, where that's the most punishable time. But if they're in, for example, the corner, or you see they're already shielding, that's totally like free invitation to back air instead, because they're not really gonna have a way to avoid it or be able to punish in any regard. So not all landing bears are treated equally. If it's dash dancing, it's obviously like a scarier story. You want to be more careful about that, respect it. But no, like you're kind of saying, like shielding is just totally something that, from the other person's perspective, it's really annoying that you just cannot get anything off.
Absolutely, and I think that like what we're seeing here is just like why it's so important to like have these kinds of spaces. Oh, he saved the jump.
Yeah, lifesaver. Yeah, I remember that too. I was just gonna say like this is the edge guard where he makes it back from. But yeah, continue where you
Oh, it's
saying
just I mean, it's
if you're
just,
already done.
no, I mean like we just see he's always keeping that space, that space. So whether he shields or hit or gets the hit, like it's always he's always just making sure that Cody has to do a movement before hitting him.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Actually, just like think about like what requirement or like think of movement as a resource, and then just like this is what they have to do, and if it's shield, then that's like straight up not even gonna be able to cover you at all. Side of the storm, kind of.
Yeah, exactly. Like, look at, like, because he doesn't even interact with the shield there because he's just kind of, like, awkwardly positioned. He tries to move around it, but that means that he's not going to ever get up smashed there. So,
Yeah.
like, and I don't agree with every decision he's making, but, like, I will say spatially, I think we can both agree that, like, I think that knowing what you're going to do with your landing is, like, very, very important versus Fox. And I think that like this method of just kind of like making sure you're always like fading away at the end, to like require him to do a movement after to hit you, that's a pretty good way to do it. I'd even like he doesn't even attack when they both shield next to each other because he knows it's like that's just not like.
Yeah, you're not gonna get anything out probably. You should focus on positioning for the next favorable position, or the next position you can even get anything meaningful out of.
Even that one, like, he can't actually, like, attack... I feel like Cody can't actually attack him, like, immediately out of shield on that one. Like, on this drill.
Yeah, once he... Yeah, like, he was spaced super far away. Especially on the back of shields. That's, like, one of my favorite things is the full hop auto-cancel drill. You do those on tall characters like Falcon, Sheik, and Marth. And it's, like, at the very end of the drill, you just land behind them, and it's like, okay, what are you gonna do now that I'm behind your shield? Like, it's just kind of... force them to be awkward, you know. They have to roll, they have to wave dash, they have to jump. Probably not jump because those characters aren't as good jumping on shield as Puff is. So that's like one of my favorite things, like starting interaction. But that was all like a very good observation. Just that like there it is again. That was like the clearest example of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're poking, if you're purely trying to get, as Violence and I love calling it, the one cookie, you should be implementing that drift at the very end of it, to basically always enable that you're safe against a defensive option.
Yeah, because like what you're doing is you're creating a mix-up by doing that drift plus that. I think there's even like a fast fall at the very end, maybe. But like by doing those two things, like by doing that, that in that way, he's ensuring that his dash jump away is always safe or like always like starts before Fox like can exits his wave dash. So then that, or yeah, they're both basically happening at the same time. So because of that, he has the option to wave dash, or he has the option to jump and take the air again. I think that's part of why he's so much faster than the other, than respectfully the other Jigglypuffs. Right. Because it's just he knows that dash jump is safe. So
yeah, he's already in a spot. He knows that he can start moving and be totally safe. He's not like scared to shield. He's not scared to like back down or crouch. You know, he's just like, okay, I hit the shield like this, and so I already know in this next spot I can start moving to the next position without any harm.
Yeah, and he does it with his attacks, like when he hits too. Like, it's just there's so much confidence that like he's in the right spot because he knows that Cody has to commit to like a movement to come over and hit him, which is why he's not afraid to go for like that up tilt and stuff. I think because he just
that's a totally good point. If there's anything that I admire the most from it, it's just like he's insane out of his Bair hit confirms. Like even when it's not hitting shield, when it's hitting them, it's just like it feels like he makes so much out of so little, and just like it's like not true, but he's so consistently able to just like get the right call in the after part, and so you're kind of getting into how he's able to do that, you know, just like the invisible nuances that he's so good at.
Yeah, so that's really like all I wanted to show you about Hungrybox. Like I think that those were like that was important, but I think that from here, what I'd be curious as to, I notice that you usually keep your front towards your opponents more. How do you feel about doing some ranked for me? And we're gonna try to implement some of this stuff.
So yeah, the back air stuff, and then like facing back.
Yeah.
Instead, or just kind of, I guess I could play completely filtered. or like unfiltered, just go into it as I would normally.
Yeah, I think that so what I think would work best. Let's go into this normally, the way that we typically would. But we're just going to make a note that we're going to take opportunities to use our back air more. That's it.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. And I think even versus Morse code, that's like one of my favorite things was that I maybe lost as more of the session was going on was I would face back, and it's like I am totally able to just jump in back air, but I'm also able to dash out a crouch and grab, and then I'm also able to dash out a crouch and do the forward air. But then I forgot that by facing forward, I would lose that ability a bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, ready to start?
Yep, absolutely. I can see.
Yeah, and I do die melee just so it's a little nicer.
Totally.
Hopefully the queue times aren't bad because they were kind of like 1 minute to 2 minutes, but as I was doing earlier. Oh no, right away. Oh, I actually fought this guy earlier. He was actually really good, so this will be a good example.
Nice. We got a fox early.
Yeah. I was totally ready to fight another peach. I have fought so many peaches. Yeah, probably gonna try to focus then. But just remember, ideally to be turned around. Okay.
No. We're just gonna use our.
Yeah, play it as is.
Yeah, I like
play
that
Yoshi's on the team.
I like that you leave up Yoshi's.
That's what they did.
Nice smash, yeah.
Oops.
All good.
Even just doing some landing bears I know are safe, too, probably.
Yeah.
All right, lift.
Mm-hmm.
Hbox would have got a ton out of that hit confirm bear, probably.
I think that Hbox wouldn't have gone for the wave dash towards him. I think that he would have probably gone.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of realizing too. Is I think this guy is good at placing things kind of in place. You saw that drill right there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is what I hate about Yoshi's sometimes.
Why?
Thankfully, it's more of an issue with Falco.
When he's get up attacking, couldn't you just pound upwards?
That might be an idea actually. Another idea would be to just
you could.
I don't know. You go onto the side platform.
Yeah, use the wavelength to refresh your jumps.
Yeah, it was a good mix-up from him. Usually I'm used to people being very strong at just or they'll do an option instantly. But he did a good job waiting in that spot.
Mm-hmm.
Oops. Okay, so this is where I got to be a little careful about my advancements.
Nice placement.
Lucky.
Yeah, that rhythm is not that rhythm isn't free.
Yeah.
Let's try to keep a little bit more space after we hit his shield or him, because we're
right.
Because we're landing a little close to him. That's all.
Yeah. It's always a scariest moment whenever out of the range. He's choking. The fox lair. Yeah, that was good. I got to dash out a crouch grab. A little bit of a stronger punish than if I were to just back air the up smash. Yeah. That was another spot where I probably should have respected the range of back air a lot more, rather than trying to force something. Okay, so I think we'll try Battlefield. Yeah, because I already got Yoshi, so I might my problem is kind of interacting with them too much, so I should put a little more space on board.
Yeah, because we're just see how you space that nair at the end, where you're just landing outside the zone, and then you're able to kind of do your thing. Yeah, that's kind of what the idea that we're going for here.
Probably a little too close there.
A little too close, but again, the important thing is that we're getting these. We're acting quickly after. Fox, I think, is a matchup where you're actually rewarded quite a lot for just going quicker.
Yeah, you almost have to make reads, which is kind of a scary thing, just because it's I feel so inclined to have to grab or whatnot. also on the same drop. Okay, so I should try really higher dodge. Oh, I pressed it too early. That's fine.
After the Singhog, could you have just fallen off with Fair?
That actually is kind of something I was just thinking about because it's like I do the Bair, but Fair is actually a little bit faster.
It also has a persistent hitbox.
Yeah, you don't have to hit them with the back air. You can hit them with like any part of the later part of the Fair.
Mm-hmm. I really like Fair as an edge guarding move.
Oh yeah, Fair is like kind of pretty underrated with how fast you can do it.
Mm-hmm.
So at this high percent, I definitely have to just like take my one cookie, as Violence would say.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Well, I'm just saying I shouldn't try to buy off more than I can chew because like grabs don't lead to as much. It's no longer like an early kill anymore. Classic. Oh, that was a crazy grab. I'm at least happy I am getting like a lot of grabs because that's like I'll get locked into like the mentality of bearing a lot, and I feel like I am right now, but I'm still able to get those grabs when they like pop up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they almost got like clipped. Okay, I'm really proud of myself there because I was like, I'm just gonna hold shield. It's like I'm not gonna try to do anything too risky.
No, it looked good.
That is weird. I'll probably ban. I think I'm down to ban Stadium just so they'll probably take me FD. Yeah, and there'll be like a simpler plan. I'm almost like making my stage picks just by what I think would be useful information.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good way to do it. This is I think the map where like the Hbox spacing is like most important.
Right. I think I might actually try right now playing a little more airborne.
Yeah.
Oh, that was kind of a mistake button. It's still good by me though.
It just is what it
actually,
is.
it's really fun commentating like this gameplay. It makes it a lot more productive, I feel like.
What do you
Maybe like after I do ranked, I should like have used like my invisible shoulder. Like pretend you're there.
Yeah. So like let me ask you. So what is it what if this structure like this more active style is working for you?
Oh, you're just saying like what I'm doing right now?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's kind of just taking the weight off the win. Like it already is just kind of like, you know, we're doing this for a purpose. You know, beforehand I would be like, oh, I'm gonna do this to just, like try to win. You know, that's like the objective. But I don't know, with you kind of talking with me, it just kind of gives me someone to bounce off of what I'm talking about. And that as opposed to if someone isn't there, then it's just like, oh, I kind of just have all this to myself. So like instead my thoughts will like meander elsewhere, if that makes sense. I'm also like half trying to pay attention to the game, but I think you understand that.
Oh yeah.
But no, like I think almost in a way it kind of reminds me of rubber ducky coding, where you just explain kind of the problem that you have to just like this invisible force, and by that it will make you understand what's wrong. That's like a big thing in computer science, for example. So I think just and not just in figuring out the solution, but in just kind of recapping what's happening. And again, that's kind of like a more in the present type of mentality than a results based one. Just because you're again you're like understanding what's going on. Even it built me a lot of energy to not nair forward there. I'm gonna try to go for not press punish now.
I feel like this guy is leaving himself like criminally open to pound.
I'm kind of glad you do recommend pound because I feel like a lot of people nowadays don't like pound at all. Oh, that was rough because I pressed it too early.
Pound is a great move. It's just like situational and conditional.
Yeah, you have to. Again, I think the way that it is as a forward special just kind of de-incentivizes you using it from a distance. Like you want to do it. You want to do it as like a approaching option when it's not always that good. It gives the opponent a tell.
Mm-hmm.
That was a bad jump from them, but at least that was a good jump drift. A little too early on the rest. I tried it there. I think I barely, yeah.
Yeah, we're fine. We're not fine on
And
that.
that's their win condition a lot of times. So I'm gonna, if I shield, it probably won't make them as likely to do it. So I'll just chill probably a little more on the side of this area. And then if I make it look like I'm approached, then they'll be more susceptible to try to up smash it. But they're also doing a good job up airing instead. Up airing is a very much more safe version of that. Oh, there it was right there. Like this, wave line. Aw, I didn't quite get the wave line. But that's okay. Because like I was definitely trying to play a lot more to like what was happening in that situation again.
Yeah, it's more purposeful.
Yeah, no, the Hbox drifts, I totally get what you're trying to say now, where you have to focus a lot more how you, not only how you're landing, but just like the kind of the way you're setting yourself up afterwards.
Exactly.
And how like safe it is.
Yeah, because like you got that up air call out on him after because he tried to like go around it basically.
Yeah.
So then like from that could have won you the game.
Yeah, and that's kind of the thing too. Is it's like, oh, it's a little shame I missed the rest, but you know I got the, you know I ended up getting the kind of the win condition. I just need to clean up my execution, and that's the easy part. The hard part is figuring out how do we get that up air in the first place. You know, first game he kind of did a really good strong job on me and just like forcing me to just not really feel comfortable fighting up close. But then I kind of felt like as the set was going on, I already got like a lot better with just, oh, this is the type of backers I do, and these are the backers that previously would terrify me because I don't think landing Bair is like that safe. But no, you're demonstrating to me that it is a thing for the opponents to fear with how insane Jugu plus Airdrift is backwards.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. So like we're just using our tools more effectively. Let's queue again.
Yep. Yeah, we'll do another ranked match. I kind of want a more space heavy matchup, but if it's another Fox, it's probably cool. Yeah. If there's anything Hungrybox is significantly better at me at, it's definitely drifts. I'm much more of a grounded puff. I'll do my options like rising, or I'll do them like just kind of like with full drift, like almost like I am dashing at full speed on the ground. So I think this is another good topic that I'm glad we're going over, just because like even though drift seems so simple, which is like, you know, you just have this type of control value, it's completely different than ground movement, which is how it accelerates, how you kind of like slide even after you hit the ground. You know, that's what we've been talking about with the landing. So no, I think it's a really good overview of that.
Wait till you
and just kind of it's already gave me a lot to think about now. Like as toxic as this sounds, it's like I'm already thinking about when this lesson is. And it's like, what am I going to do with this knowledge? But nope, it's still happening. So I gotta make the most of it.
Wait till it's gonna blow your mind when you realize that like after you do the back air and they have to do a movement to like hit you where you are, you can just do attacks afterwards. Like you can dash away, like jump up, rising back air. You can up tilt.
Oh yeah.
Like, it's gonna blow your mind when you figure out how those options work.
Yeah. There was that one time where Hungrybox just straight up grabbed Cody running in after like a negative fair land. I'm just like, how does he know? But yeah, that's because Fox, that's kind of what he has to do. Is he just gonna stay in place and just let you take the damage? I mean, he can, but
he doesn't want
to. Not always what he wants to do. He's Fox. He has to like force interactions. That's how he's the strongest character game. Okay, so we got Falcon.
We got Slugger.
I say Falcon. Slugger. Do you recognize him at all?
No, I just like the name.
Yeah, that's what I think with a lot of people. A lot of people have like very interesting names. There's this person who was like burning deodorant or something that I fought while writing up, and I'm like, that's just such a surreal name. Alright, I want to like remember how I want to force interactions, but also don't forget about like shield and whatnot.
Well, remember what we went over versus Salt?
Yep.
Hey, you did the thing!
Oh. I did the straw hop?
Yep.
I'm glad you noticed. But, you know, that's your job. Probably a knee, yeah. So in this spot, I don't even want to hit him. I just want to shield and then make an advancement. Yeah. I don't know why. I feel like my edge guarding, I will say, with the reactive play, I feel like it's actually made my edge guard a lot worse. I gotta, like, commit a lot more to certain options. Or probably just work on my movement better. Like, I'll get the edge guard attempts.
Try to, like, so...
Even against someone like Falcon, you're seeing me drop more than I should.
So I think that after the first hit, try to like think about like where the next hit is, and try to like think about how your aerials chain together to create that. Because I think you're letting him just come back like to the stage, and you're covering with grounded stuff instead of just killing him off stage with your combo.
That makes a lot of sense. Just kind of like using a more applicable subset of aerials. Like there, even that backer was kind of like a little close to stage, or it was like a little out. I should be waiting. Yeah, like that.
Yeah, there you go.
It's like example.
Easy clap.
Yeah. I was gonna say, even if we have time, like my Kadoran set from Battle BC, holy cow, have I not been like worse with like Edge Guardian and whatnot. So it was just like, I know Edge Guardian's like not the most like clear cut thing to like study, but I was just like, what are some ideas from this? And it's just like, because in that moment I felt like I had like no control, for example. Almost. I think they actually could have killed me, but it's fine. That's always the nice thing about playing these type of players is it's just like, oh, I should be dead, and it's okay. Oh, I got a Phantom Bair. Wow, that was crazy. You know, I was like thinking, I'm like, I should just go full forward. Like, I don't think they can successfully go back. Yeah. No, that's a lot better. Yeah. This type of thing, it's like, I mean, if I'm doing it the rubber ducky way, I don't think my rubber ducky will be able to talk to me that way. But, you know, I think even like there's a lot of spots I struggle at that if I just explain it to myself, the answer will become like self-explanatory. Yeah. I also suck at wrestling Falcon sometimes. So there was like, I'm glad I incorporated that pause just because it was like, oh, it's so scary sometimes. And Falcon is a big rest punisher, obviously. Yeah. Another thing I'm kind of noticing too about...
Where does he fall in like the rest punish hierarchy? Like, is he like third or second or?
You're saying like in terms of like how rest punishable he is?
No, in terms of how devastating like he punishes you for missing rest.
Yeah.
That was dirty. Thing is, like, holy moly.
Yeah, I was able to get a not rest punish thankfully. But yeah, to answer your question, like I think the Marios are technically like the next best. But I think Bowser is also like really strong because we do have a Bowser in our scene, ironically enough. And I've learned that like even at like 10%, I think I'm gonna take a I was too invincible. But even at like 10%, like Bowser's fully charged F smash is like not arms attackable, and it actually just like kinda just straight up kills you. It's pretty strong. So in some ways, like he's even better than the Marios, but that was a good question. But Falcon's fully charged F smash is like not techable at like 67%, so he's about the same as Marth. But I'd say when he doesn't have that, he's still really strong. So yeah, I'll rock hawk there. I have so much lead that like I might as well just take the damage.
Yeah, you traded 15 for a stock. That's pretty good. Like...
Okay, jab into weight.
Yeah.
And now I'm getting stomped a lot, so... Oh, no, that was really strong by them. I was like, I should just hold shield now, but nope, they successfully conditioned me. Going back to a point I was going to bring up before, I think another benefit of, like, explaining the game as it happens is, like, I think it kind of gives me a lot more positive reinforcement with, like, some things I do. Like, for example, that time where I was more slow to rest, that was just like, oh, not only do I recognize this, but I'm kind of giving myself a pat on the back for doing that correctly. And that goes, that kind of goes into what I enjoy about Melee was, like, the simple things, you know, landing rest, and this move is so strong, and it's like, so flashy and whatever, and it kind of makes you appreciate a lot more of what that is. So that's another strong thing I'm realizing is, like, not only is it improvement-wise better, but I think it's actually making me just enjoy what's happening more, you know? Even when I get hit, like, I'll give, like, positive reinforcement to my opponents, like, you know, they did a good job, they hit me there, and so, you know, the classic where you get tilted in your head, and I think we've all been through that.
Yeah, so you're set with Kadoran at Battle of BC. Do you have the VODs?
Yeah, so there actually is a YouTube video, so I thankfully didn't have to go in OBS and do that, but so you would like to look at it.
Yeah, I mean, like, you said edge guarding, right? So, like, we're down to our last, like, 15 minutes or so. So, yeah, let's take a look-see.
And Martha is, I think, quite a step up in terms of Falcon. Obviously, like, Falcon's got probably one of the weaker top tiers. I don't know what your opinion is, but... Oh, yeah, here it is. It's a quad stream, though, so I hope you don't mind,
I'm fine.
Probably just looking at fourth of it, yeah. Still better than the old days where we just didn't have replays at all. Yeah. We're, like, so privileged with, like, Slippy and everything. It's like, you get to frame advanced stuff and then, like, turn on hitboxes.
No, absolutely. So, let's see here.
It's swag.
So, we got this. Can you see my screen?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna full screen.
I guess actually might as well stop screen sharing myself.
Yeah.
No, that was really good. I think that's like another really good takeaway for me. Like, it's fine. We went into it like thinking about the Hungrybox backer, but even just me explaining things to you, that was the first time I've just kind of like done a type of live coaching set. Like, I think that actually just incorporated a lot of elements or introduced me to a lot of elements that I should be doing in actual sets to myself.
Yeah,
Just mentally.
well, this is the thing. Like, I really like doing lots of I really like doing variety. I think that it's important to try different approaches when it comes to like coaching and stuff, so that you can like kind of get I view coaching kind of like dating. Like, you don't really know what you need or what it exactly is that you. Okay, that was good by you.
Yeah.
So that one is like kind of a set play edge guard because I think you nicked his jump. So like, there's not.
I was gonna say, I think game 4 is ending. That is absolutely probably the best part to look for the dropped edge guards. Might be a high percent. Yeah, that's what I should have told you first. I was like, actually, I think the reason why I win game 1 and partly game 3 is because I actually hit him. But yeah, game 4 like went on 4 forever. It was the second Dreamline game, I think. Yeah, so it should be this one. So anyways, continue with your data analogy, the variety.
I was just gonna say, like, it's like a lot of experiences. We don't know what we like until we try it. And I think that coaching is like the same way. There's a lot of different approaches you can take. There's a lot of different ways you can do it. And yeah, like a lot of times coaches just offer VOD analysis. And I think that's just kind of a shame because, yeah, there's more ways to do it.
Yeah. That was one of the biggest surprises I got when we first started. Is you asked me, it's like, hey, do you want to play ranked? Do you want to go over a VOD? Because it's like, well, the VOD thing is like the most obvious. It's like, what? But I didn't even have the thought occur to me that it's like we could do other stuff. Yeah. I even think that idea that you mentioned about how you can, you don't know what you'll like until you try it is like probably really applicable just melee improvement as a whole. Because I think I'm probably like really untapped to how I play friendlies, if that makes any sense. Like, I think ranked is a really good thing for me to hop back into. It has some of its negatives, connections aren't as strong. You're getting a lot of other people, and I think in general, like, I would normally see it as because you're playing sets and that like enforces you to want to win. It's not as much focused on winning. But I think for example, playing with you in the background, I think it made me realize that like, no, you don't actually have to play ranked sets still to win. Obviously, like, win if you can. That's like the end goal. But at the end of the day, it's still just ranked. It's not like it's tournament, for example, where there's a much more higher amount on the line. So I think that's like another big thing too, where it's like I go into every type of aspect, whether it be
what do you mean you're not hitting
friendly
your edge
sessions.
guards?
Yeah, isn't it tough? But yeah, like I think probably the last stock is like the one example. Also might be game 5. Game 5 is probably like the one where it happened. Yeah, so it's you live there.
Okay, so what happens here?
The one time I don't want to hit these edge guards, it's like no, disappoint me. Okay, so I land this forward smash.
Okay, so this
like there, for example.
This is just a spacing thing to me. So like,
yeah, I think I should no drift here. It was okay to jump out, but then I kept trying to go forward.
So what are you doing what are you doing trying to cover with this back here? Like, why are you trying to hit him with this?
That is an amazing question because I do not know. Like, if I did this Bair in place, I think that's a good idea because you get your good aerial acceleration and then like you can do a follow-up Bair to like maybe land on him. But nah, like this spacing is just like completely messed up where he's not even close to me.
See, the thing is, I'm almost wondering like, why don't we just like stay here and not attack?
Yeah. That's why I think like a jump Bair in place might not be a bad idea. Even like maintain the height might be fine.
I'm thinking we don't even like back. I'm thinking we don't even like do the back here. Like, what if we just like hover here? Because what happened? How does he have to make it back? He has to do what?
He has to go forward and down by virtue of gravity.
Yeah, so he's traveling like this, which means he has to double jump at some point and up B, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, he like always has to be moving forward. Like, he doesn't have an option to just be like, oh, I will not keep moving forward, because then he just doesn't make it to the stage.
So do you think that he is doing this fair on reaction to your back air? Or do you think he's just doing it?
Most likely, He's not doing it to the Bair, I would say. I think he's doing it more to the movement, because obviously the Bair in itself is like not reactable. He's already started the fair right now, I think.
Yeah.
Or is that the end lag of the? Yeah, that's the fair startup.
So my question is if we just stay over here, and he goes for this fair, then we can just land on him afterwards, right? Like we can just fast fall into him and he's dead.
Yep, that's an easy C input right there.
So like, what does the like? Why are so my question is why are we trying to cut him off if the onus is on him to like do something to like get rid of us?
Exactly. Well, is that kind of like a rhetorical question where it's like kind of pointing out why it's not?
It's not
approaching.
Yeah, this is a rhetorical question.
Yeah, I was making sure because it's like how do I explain it in a way that makes sense? No, that's good.
Yeah.
Because actually, this is a concept you do versus Peach and Samus anyway, I think. But maybe I just don't think about it as much for Marth, because Peach, for example, they can cross you up with their parasol as they're falling, and it gets like reverse hit. So to prevent that, you stay more in place. And actually, I think versus Falcon, as we saw, I kind of did better with that as well. At least versus Salt. And so, no, I think like maybe something about Marth is like, I think because like every dancing blade is technically with punishable in a vacuum, but they're not always with punishable. It's kind of like tempting to try to hit, if that makes sense, like explaining my own like perspective against it. But no, like you still treat him like the same way as other characters.
So my question here is, after you grab the edge and he's below you, could we just fall off and fair?
I think we can fall off and then like, I guess you're kind of right. I wasn't reacting this moment. I was mainly just trying to cover up B. Like I thought maybe you would do an early up B, but that's not really good as Martha's all. Now that I'm thinking about the situation, like that side B is something he kind of has to do. So why can't he early up B? He can't early up B because it's extremely unfavorable to like land on the stage and be generally positioned to land on ledge. Like Marth has to be load up B in order for him to grab ledge as soon as he can after the descent of it starts. If that makes sense, what I'm explaining.
Yeah, absolutely. So is there a way, I think that it makes sense that you didn't like, I think it still makes sense that you didn't fall off in fair, because if you fall off in fair, if he does early up B, then he's probably safe-ish, right?
Yeah.
So
that's a hard call out from his perspective.
Yeah, but like what if we go here?
That's what you're saying, yeah.
What if we just fall off here?
Yeah.
Like if we go here, then it covers both of them, right? Because we can then see him do this.
Then I can react. And honestly, you could maybe pound him. It might put him in the air, but like high up in there, but that's still a favorable edge guard that covers two situations.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's another spot too, like right here, he has to go forward, or maybe he could go to ledge, but if he's going to ledge, that's a Marth at ledge. That's not a Marth on stage. So I definitely should have just like taken my stage, been happy with that instead of like. I think like I'm trying to do this like ridiculously unrealistic drift to like time in real time to hit him, if that makes sense.
It does. My one question is, why short hop?
Can I actually see the start place drop real quick? Yeah. Again, just like back up. Because this is probably a good question for myself as well. Oh yeah, this short hop.
So like
that's a good question.
Because like we hit him with this back air, so let's just like wind up to like this situation itself. So we have this going on. So we hit him with that. So what I'm thinking is what if we jump over here and like, what if we jump over here, right? Like with full hop?
Yeah, you're saying like a higher, either a full hop or an instant double jump.
Yeah.
Now that does seem a lot better. And again, that's like probably a better spot to chill in.
Yeah, because
like you just kind of wait there and you react.
Well, wait here and cover, because he might double jump forward with an attack. So then we would double jump away from him and then counter hit him. And then if he pulls away because we're here, then we can just fall to the edge.
No, that does make a lot more sense. I think now that we're explaining it more, like I think what I'm starting to realize is I treat a lot of edge guards like you're hitting the person, like you have to go out and hit them, as opposed to intercepting them. And that's probably a pretty huge weakness of mine, considering like edge guarding is the quintessential moment again that we talked about, where they have to go for it. They don't have a choice. That was just me messing up the same drop.
Fair enough. Yeah, and no, you're absolutely right. So like the one thing, so the way I'd view it is, and I think I explained this to, it might have been you that I explained this to, but like when we're edge guarding, it is because the opponent has to come forward, we don't have to overshoot.
Yes.
because the opponent has to come forward. So like, there's no point to overshooting. We can just undershoot or like guard space. Like we can undershoot or whiff punish, and those two are like much stronger because the opponent has to either protect their space on their way back, or they have to like, they have to keep moving forward. But they can't really like stall. They can't like wait forever. And I think that's like the big thing, like the defining, like that's where they have lost advantage.
There's a timer being placed on them. Like they have to make a decision in between like a frame of time, as opposed to like, you know, compare that to like normal undershooting or overshooting, or with punishing's like the middle one. Like all those options kind of like also have a mix-up in and of themselves, where there's a timing mix-up. It's like you don't know which one they're going for at which spot and how they're executing it. But during edge guarding, your execution timing is a lot more limited.
Yeah.
So you can cover them a lot more on reaction.
Exactly.
But no, like I'm totally seeing it now where it's like I'm drifting forward, I'm drifting out towards him, and that's fine. You can jump out to position yourself, but then I keep holding forward. Like that was a little better. And then I think he's gonna air dodge. That was just a little unfortunate. But you can see that last edge guard was a little bit better, just because like I kind of waited to do the fair instead of just like jumping preemptively.
Yeah, exactly. You knew that he had to come forward.
Yeah.
So now let's.
So I think that's probably like, I think that's like another subconscious thing that that probably incentivizes. Like you do want to jump out and you do want to drift forward out, but you don't want to drift forward to hit them. You only jump forward for the positioning to set yourself up for the edge guard.
Yeah, and I mean, like, if they leave themselves open, because, like, you know, their space animal at B, their Sheik, with her limited drift, whatever, then that's different. Like, we can definitely capitalize on those, and that's totally fine. But, like, in a lot of the spots where we're going for hits, Marth is still able to defend himself.
Yeah. Yeah, like, even that spot, I think, like, I should have been on stage as opposed to, like, placing myself awkwardly off. I think a lot of these times I should just be happy that it's Marth in the corner, and he's limited. Like I should just go on stage here. I think.
Yeah, like I wouldn't go.
I missed the sing drop obviously, but like I wouldn't think I should have done the sing drop.
I feel like it was the third aerial off stage. Like if you had just gone back to stage at that point and refreshed your jumps, yeah, you're in such a good spot there.
Yeah, I gotta be happy with like what I've gotten in that spot. It's at the end of the day, Marth is like probably one of the weaker characters in the corner. Like. He just has to like, it's funny because his character almost is based on intercepting as well. So it's just like, if he's forced to approach, that's no bueno for him.
Yeah.
So no, like even it kind of accepting the fact that you can't edge guard or like you can't get a guaranteed edge guard. Obviously, like if you can get an edge guard, you shouldn't just like give up. But like, there's times where it's just like, you know, I don't want to commit more than I feel like I have to. When at the end of the day, this is a bad spot for my opponent.
Mm-hmm. I think that you're understanding the concept much better because like we're understanding like how the constraints of the situation impacts his position game and like the spaces he can move through, and I think that's really like what's going to help you more because like this applies to every character. Marth is the most extreme. Marth in a lot of ways is the most extreme example because the thing about Marth is that he can technically get out of anything as long as he exerts his sword's hitbot like disjoint advantage over the opponent correctly. But like the thing about recovery is that it puts a severe handicap on it if we use it properly. And I think that that's also part of why Falcon sometimes is tough because he's also got a lot of air mobility. He's got his crazy up air, like he's got his legs. And when we don't punish him properly, like he's surprisingly good at slipping by us, and I think.
I think even like someone I'll fight even like Morse Code who's Samus that doesn't have that much mobility, and I'll find that they'll actually slip by me a lot by abusing the fact that I keep trying to hit them instead of like intercepting or throwing stuff in place. So I think your concept. Never mind, like, edge guarding characters. Like, just think about it just in space in general. There's probably a lot of times I try to force these hits, or I try to, like, go actively out and hit them. And that's fine, you know, that's part of poking, but if it's all I'm doing, then that's, like, a severe limitation on my character. I'm only doing, like, overshoots or whatever. Yeah. So, I think if anything, this edge guarding issue is, like, a good introduction and just kind of, like, a major flaw that I might have facing overall. Like look at that, look at that bear for example. It's just like that's like a yet another time where I'm jumping and I'm trying to hit him, and it's like you can. It's totally fine to just like jump in place and then drift later. I tie my drift forward to my jump, which is also tied to my attack. Like I tie all these options together, and it's like no, you can do them independently of one another. You're not forced together.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. So
That's a huge thing.
I think we are at time, but
No, that was perfect. That was just like I was like almost kind of wrapping up my thought. I'm like, this is perfect. End on.
yeah. So I think I'm gonna hit stop on recording.